Hi everyone, I'm going to attempt my third try to show you how to add a roll call or registration for your Teams. I've tried a different screen recording system because after 5 minutes it cuts out on my previous one. Anyway, here goes. So let me show you what roll call looks like initially. So I'm in one of the teams here, I'm in Janine's test class in the general tab, and just to remind you what this looks like, we've got posts at the top, files, class, notebook, assignments, and two more. If I click on this drop down arrow, I can see one of them is called fill and roll call J5 art. That's one I set up earlier and this is what the roll call would look like. So this is assuming this is a J5 art class because it says roll call and J5 art. All the pupils will need to do after they've completed their work for the day or for that lesson is simply click in this box down here where it says input the date, and as soon as they do that it comes up with a drop down calendar. So they click on the date that they've completed the work or attempted the work and click submit, and that's done. Anytime they go back to that class and maybe they do some more work in the notebook and they complete the assignment for the day, so they work through this note, at the end of that lesson they simply go back to that roll call session and click back in the date and select the new date and submit, and they've submitted the response. Okay, over on the left hand side of my window over here now, I'm on the home page in Chrome and I'm simply going to type in forms over here. Now if I do a Google search on forms, one of the first ones that comes up is Google Forms. That's not the one we're looking at. We're looking at Microsoft Forms. So if you click on that and go to Microsoft Forms, you will see I have two forms in here. One's called Roll Call J5 Art and one's called Roll Call J4. I've also got a video test that I was trying something earlier with Pete. This is the one that I've just submitted the response for. So if I click on this, you can see here's my question, and over here I've got 7 responses. If I click on responses at the top over here, I can see I've had 7 responses. The active the status of this form is active. In other words, it's not going to close anytime. And if I click on details over here at just below question number 1, I can see that a particularly keen pupil has submitted a response for having completed or attempted the work for that lesson on several occasions, 7 occasions. In fact, even ahead of time, so on tomorrow they've done the work. So a very keen pupil has done that. Okay, I'm now simply going to show you how I can add this to my team. So the way I do that is in this question that I've got, my J5 art roll call, I'm going to click on the share button here. You won't necessarily need to do this, but you might be able to do this for another form you create for an assessment or something like that, or an activity. Click on the share, and the most common share you will do is this one, just sharing it with your class. I'm actually going to share it as a template so everyone can copy it. So I'm going to click on here and copy, and then I'm going to go back into Microsoft Teams and I'm going to go to our Teams and Oliveye tutorials, and I'm going to click it in the chat here so that everyone in St. Olive's can. So I'm pasting that link into that, and now any of you can now go into that Teams and Oliveye tutorial, click on this link, and it'll take you to a web page where it says at the top roll call J5 art. The difference now is at the top here of this web page it says duplicate this form and start to use it as your own. Now that's really important because you need to have it as your own form if you're going to add it to your team. So simply click on duplicate and you'll now notice that it says roll call J5 art and in brackets copying, and at the top here in the middle it says saving. This is an active site, so as soon as you change anything it automatically saves it for you. So I'm going to click on the title here and I'm going to make this J1X, and let me say for example I'm going to make it, I'm just going to leave it at J1X. Okay, again at the top it says saving. I can go and see my responses, but it should have no responses because I haven't used this form yet. It still says saving. I'm going to wait for it to finish saying saving before I go to the next step, because it's obviously busy working on my very fast broadband. I'm taking a little bit of time to recover and catch up to the speed of my voice. Anyway, I'm going to assume it has saved and go back to my Microsoft Forms here. So if I click over here where it says Forms near the top left hand corner next to those 9 dots. Those 9 dots, by the way, just take you to the various Microsoft applications. So I click on my Forms. If I refresh this page, I'm hopefully going to see I've got one that's called J1X. There it is. So I've now got a J1X roll call, a J5 art and a J4. To save myself a little bit of hassle, I'm going to copy this form because I want a different roll call for each of my classes. Assume I've got 12 classes. I simply click, go back so you can see these 3 dots on the top right hand corner of any of those forms. They're on every form, those 3 dots. Okay, and if you click on those 3 dots, it opens up 3 options. I'm going to copy it, and you'll simply see it now says roll call J1X2. If I do that again, copy, roll call J1X3. So next to that I've got J1X2, J1X original down here, J5 art down here. I can now simply click on each of those forms and give them a different name. So I'm going to call this J4 PSHE. And you'll notice it's sped up a little bit. This says saved. So if I go back to forms, my J4 roll call for PSHE is now saved. Now I simply go back into my Teams window. I go and find the team that I want to put a roll call session in. So for me it's the J4 PSHE team. And in the team that I'm in over here, I've got my posts, my class notebook. I've got 2 more. I've got my J4 roll call, which I'm actually just going to remove. So you can see that's gone. So I don't have any roll call tabs at the top here. So I'm going to add a roll call option here for this team. So simply click on the plus sign at the top of the menu where these concentric circles are making him possibly a little bit hypnotic. Click the plus. And in the tabs that it opens up, the one we want to select is Forms. Okay, simply click on Forms and then select the second one that says Add an existing form. And here you'll see all the forms that I've created and copied earlier. So the one that I want to use is J4 PSHE. I can select a different one if I wanted, but this is a PSHE class, so it makes sense. I suggest we all call them roll call to begin with, and then just name the class for your particular team. I am going to collect the responses. I don't want to show the results because I don't want the pupils seeing what everyone else is, when everyone else has attempted the lesson. And I am going to post to the channel about this tab. That simply adds a link like it did in the one that I shared with you to show that I've put this tab at the top of this team. I don't have any pupils in this class at the moment, so it's not going to do anything, but I'm going to leave that ticked anyway. Click on Save, and then you'll notice I'm now at the top of my general, next to posts, all the way along. Under the 2 more, I now have the option to do a roll call for this J4 class. Pupil's going to go in there, select the date, click Submit, and then I will be able to go back into my forms, and in my J4 roll call PSHE, I should in a minute show that I've had a response. It's going to take a little while for this to synchronize with the website. So if I refresh this page, I should see, there we go, I've had 1 response for this. Click on that, and in the details it'll show me that I have attempted the lesson today. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you need any more help.